Auto has been in good stead. We saw some of those auto numbers yesterday, and those weren't too bad from what I see. Oof, is it enough moment on Maruti?
29% growth.
And they're producing more as well, so production is up. I'm assuming that it helps ancillary sectors as well. And numbers want to buy. Tata Motors this morning, I don't know, how do you view those? I don't think they were too bad, say.
But flat, I mean, I think people will just compare now. Look at what Maruti is doing versus what some of the other. Mahindra has not done too badly. And then you have a Tata Motors, which is 1%. I don't know.
Yeah, so domestic sales were largely flat for Tata Motors. If I guess somebody's looking to buying auto, the buy would remain on Maruti. Even though Maruti had a pretty solid run in trade yesterday, Tata Motors has reported its domestic sales, which were only up 1%, so rather flat YOY. I like talking about rail companies and their order wins, even if they're small. So RailTel comes up on my list too. They've managed to bag a pretty large order in terms of the size of the company they are, of 78 odd crores from Bharat Coking Coal. The stock went on flat yesterday, but today should see an upward bias on that. Banks have come out with their updates, and I think both for South Indian Bank and CSB Bank, the updates aren't too bad. Advances and deposits are both up. CASA ratio is looking good, both on CSB and South Indian Bank. Neeraj, those are of course my three. You know, you talked about IT, and I want to go back to that for a minute. We did see IT being resilient towards the last quarter of 2024, could be largely on back of what happened on the political front in the US. But of course, most IT companies did indicate to us that that is by no ways an indication of the business environment changing anytime soon. The rupee has been on a one-way move. I know we react to this every day pretty much, but I do think a weaker rupee could aid the sentiment, even though fundamentals might not change. But if I look at earnings that will come out in the next few months, if companies are remaining largely unhedged, you will see a positive impact, at least on top line for these companies.
Yeah, I mean, well, Samina, very well could be the case.
Now, whether that's material enough for an investment, I'm not sure.
Just that, you know, the last 1 month as well, I mean, just look at the charts of an Infosys or any of the others, very, very flat, right? So not done too much, but off the high. So they had a rally, they've come off the highs, and maybe they wait until, I mean, I don't know if they wait until Donald Trump's inauguration and policies and budgets getting finalized, or do they kind of rally if the numbers look good? You know, what Rucha's going to do in about 2-3 days from now is try and figure out if indeed budgets get pushed from Jan to Feb, which normally used to get finalized in January because of Donald Trump's inauguration, so on and so forth. So that could be interesting. But yep, so Samina's 3 stocks were those. I'm actually resting a lot on brokerages and also a presumption. So the presumption is on ITC. And the reason why ITC comes up on my list of the first stocks to watch is because it's the last 2 days to buy ITC as a whole entity to be eligible for the hotel business demerger record date. The record date is 6th. So if you buy today or you buy tomorrow is when you are in the books of the company to be eligible for the demerged hotel entity on the record date. And today we're going to be talking about the Nomura view on what the hotel business might be as well. Sajid, at some point in time, we'll also talk about the math behind the hotel business valuation. But suffice to say, the sum of parts looks interesting. So I suspect that ITC might see some buying today and tomorrow. So that's to be watched out for. There's a Jefferies note on a lot of capital goods stocks. Now, amongst all that they've given, and they're positive on Siemens, L&T, etc., etc., L&T is the one in which they have hiked the target price. So they have a buy rating, of course. They have hiked the target price to 4,600 from 4,160. And they say that the delivery on the guidance should lead to stock upsides because the street is entering into this earnings pretty in not the strongest of fashions from an L&T stock perspective. So keep an eye out for L&T, maybe it reacts positively. And Citi has a note on a clutch of financial names, but they've opened a 90-day positive catalyst watch on Bajaj Finance and Kotak. So I'm highlighting those. On Bajaj Finance, they have a target price of 8,150. They say that they opened this note, positive catalyst watch, because they expect Bajaj Finance to show loan growth stability, positive net interest margin bias, and only a marginal rise in credit costs. So that's on Bajaj Finance. You want to keep a keen eye out for this as well. Who knows, if Bajaj Finance delivers on good numbers, maybe it reacts positively. It was at 6,200, 6,300 sometime in the quarter last, after which it delivered numbers. The street was okay with them. The stock is now at 6,900. Hasn't really performed dramatically. Could these numbers change the tone for Bajaj Finance? I think that's the key to watch out for, Samina.
And I think